What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, shout out to the brother Brendan Olson for showing love once again with a donation to the channel via the Cash App. He leaves a note saying, for keeping it real when it comes to the NBA. Salute to you, Brendan, for showing love. All right, I want to say this before I go forward in this video. Whenever I talk about LeBron knowing about the trade or LeBron and Rich Paul perhaps knowing about the trade, I'm talking about maybe 24 to 36 hours before it was announced. I don't think that they were masterminds of it. I don't think that they knew about it as far as the genesis of the trade. I don't think they were involved in negotiations. I don't think that they knew that it was coming. My gray area question is, I don't know whether or not he just found out when everybody else found out. When it was broken I think it was a little bit after midnight, whatever it was, early February, whatever day that was. That I'm a little bit questionable of, right? Now, even though we don't like LeBron James, right? Because I got to keep the same energy here. Look, a lot of us get pissed off when everybody believes everything that's negative about Diddy because they don't like him, right? I know I'm like that. I can't, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people can't stand Diddy. So they're inclined to believe anything bad about him because they don't like him. So we got to keep the same energy with this. Even though we don't like LeBron James, the evidence seems to suggest he didn't know, right? As far as the planning of it. What my issue is, I just don't believe that he didn't know. I don't believe that he didn't know until after it was announced. I think it's possible, in my mind, probable, that they knew about it or found out about it a couple days before it actually was announced. I think they caught wind of it then. And some of the clues are in how LeBron was talking about Anthony Davis in the media, almost talking like he's being overly praiseworthy of AD, because remember, AD wasn't playing because of some minor injury. He was almost talking like in a tribute way to him. So I don't know. That's just my thing on that. But I do know one thing. There's some evidence to suggest, because we know that a lot of us feel like the NBA might be rigged, right? There is some things out there to suggest that the Lakers got an idea, and I'm talking about Jenny Buss, Rob Pelinka, that they might acquire Luka Doncic, right? Number one, the December 29th, 2024 trade that sent D'Lo to the Brooklyn Nets, all right? So at the time, the Lakers sent D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis, and 3 second-round draft picks for Dorian Finney-Smith. And at the time, a lot of us was like, damn, what type of trade is that? Why would you give up? I know y'all need quote-unquote defense, but why would you give up D'Lo and, you know, all these picks for Dorian Finney-Smith, right? It didn't make any sense. And remember, the move got panned almost universally by everybody, right? Until you start thinking, wait a minute, Luka Doncic has said that he wished to play with Dorian Finney-Smith. in the future. That was his former teammate with Dallas. That's a possible clue right there that they knew. Dorian Finney-Smith, of course, is known for his defense. And of course, you would need a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith if you're trying to clean up on the defensive liability that would happen for all of the things you get with a Luka Doncic, LeBron James-led team. There's going to be some defensive deficiencies. So it makes sense to get a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, who's used to playing with a guy like Luka Doncic, and who Luka Doncic has stated in the past he wanted to play with him again. Now, the media have stated that for a long time that LeBron James needed to play with another ball handler to take pressure off LeBron James. That's one of the reasons why they got D'Lo, right? But going into this season, D'Lo was getting benched, right? Early on in the season, he got benched, which really didn't make much sense to none of us, right? It didn't make much sense. Unless you start thinking, well, wait a minute. Maybe the Lakers knew that they were going to get a replacement, namely Luka, in the short term. So they could afford to, you know what I'm saying, do these experiments or these different things with D'Lo. You know what I'm saying? Didn't matter if he wrecked his confidence. Didn't matter if he became disgruntled, because they weren't going to have him that much longer anyway. And they can get an even much better ball handler and Luka Doncic. Then another thing that you could look at is that when they did trade D'Lo, almost everybody assumed that they were going to move Austin Reeves to the point guard position after they traded D'Lo. But that never happened. They never moved him to the point guard position. Could that be because they knew they were going to get Luka Doncic? Now, look, I'm saying all of this because let's not act like the NBA hasn't been accused of predetermining certain things before, behind the scenes, okay? We all heard the rumors about the 85 draft that sent Ewing to the Knicks. That draft was rigged. We already know about the officiating and, past inconsistencies in games. We know about the official that was sent to prison for being part of basically, what was it, a crime syndicate as far as rigging games. We know the NBA can be very shady. It's a business. So at the end of the day, I'm just saying, maybe it wasn't just that they just started talking a couple weeks before the trade commenced, you know what I'm saying, or a month or whatever. Maybe this thing was in the works a little bit longer than we think. Because anytime when you have a trade of this size occur and nobody knows about it, and it's like you can never really keep any secrets in the NBA, I don't know, man. You just get a little skeptical about a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something else too. And this is something that somebody we was talking recently. The Dallas Maverick fans are real pissed off right now, obviously, about losing Luka Doncic, right? If somehow the Dallas Mavericks acquire Cooper Flagg, then you'll really know that the NBA is truly rigged. If somehow he goes to Dallas to appease them, to actually get an American-born star of that persuasion, yeah, then you'll really know how rigged the NBA is, man. But anyway, tell me what you guys think about this. Think it's bullshit? Maybe it is.